Oh, well, hello there, you beautiful, wonderful, intelligent, creative human being. I'm Andrea Dawn, and today we are here to do a physical asana practice for spine health and for our posture. So one of the reasons we want to do that is not only for overall quality of our life so that we can do things effectively and efficiently in our daily life without pain, but also to develop our meditation seat so that we can sit and have a dhyana or meditation practice, of which is one of the limbs of yoga that helps us attain liberation or reside in our own nature, Svarupe Vastanam. So let's start by sitting, and then we'll come back to this seat at the end of practice and see if it feels any different after we take an asana practice. So I like to prop myself, and that can be with pillows, blocks, blankets. But when you prop yourself, you'll want to sit on the edge. So it's almost like you're tipping off. So I'm going to sit, and then I'm going to kind of come forward onto the edge. And then I'm going to draw one heel in towards my sits bone and place the other heel in front. Right, so that tilts my hips forward, and then I can align my ears over my shoulders, over my hips, and sit up nice and tall. And think about the way that we be in this world, right? If we're kind of here, which is a lot of us, a lot of our jobs and a lot of our daily doings are here, that's kind of the way in which we'll experience the world. And so we want to be here. We want to have an uplifted gaze, an open heart and chest, and be open, willing, ready, and able to receive all that is here for us. So we'll take our seat, and once you arrive there, close your eyes or take a soft downward gaze. And just take a moment to find your breath. And this is where I like to say we take that old school dial and tune out the static so that we can tune into ourselves. Our yoga practice is an internal practice. So it's helpful to remove as many distractions as possible so that we cultivate the ability to deal with distractions when we don't have the choice. Find a soft smile to your lips. And here we go. So we'll remove our props and start on our bellies. We're going to start in a very, very gentle back bend. So back bending or spinal extension is really helpful because it opposes that forward hunch. We're going to start in crocodile pose or makarasana. So you'll come onto your belly, spread your feet pretty wide, almost about mat's width distance. And you can start by turning your feet outward. If that's not comfortable, then you can be on the tops of the feet. I find that outward position a little bit more relaxing. And then you're going to stack your hands. So you'll place one palm on top of the other, and then place the forehead down on your stacked hands. And from there, we're just going to settle in, maybe a little shimmy of the hips. And so this is just the most gentle of back bends. And then bend your knees and circle out the legs. Circle the legs in the other direction. Good. Pause, flex and point, flex and point. Circle out the ankles, other direction. And then lift the head. And we'll make this just a little bit more intense. So we're just going to move step by step into some deeper back bends. So from here, you'll just walk the elbows slightly in and hold on to opposite elbows. And then from there, you can place the head down onto the forearms, or just let the forehead drop. And what we want to do is have our belly and our low ribs on the ground, but the upper ribs and chest lifted. I'm joined by Kazuko right here. And on the other side of me is Devisita. Okay, from here we're going to take it a step deeper into Sphinx pose, or Salamba Bhujangasana. So we'll take the legs and make them about hip width distance. So think like you're aligning your heels up with your butt bones and press down through the tops of your feet. Then lift the kneecaps, engage the quads, engage the glutes. Come onto the forearms, walk the elbows so that they're slightly forward of the shoulders and slightly more narrow of the shoulders, and place the palms down. And then just notice if you're slouching. So we'll see if we can press down through the forearms, press down through the hands. Let the heart and chest or sternum reach forward as you draw your shoulders back and your armpits down. And then you'll want to see about your glute engagement. So some people want to be fully engaged, some people like it fully relaxed. I'm somewhere in between. And the gaze is about 3 feet in front of you, just so you feel the neck as an extension of the spine. Long, slow, and steady breath. Good. And now before we come into an even deeper back bend, we're going to do a little bit of some strengthening exercises. So we're going to move the kitties. Okay, kitties. And come down onto your belly. You'll keep the legs just the way they are and bring the hands to chest level. Now, I want you to think about that engagement where you're pressing through the tops of the feet, lifting the kneecaps, engaging the quads, engaging the glutes. And we're going to lift from the mid to upper back. So think if you were a girl and you're wearing a bra, where your bra strap would be, hover the hands. Pause there. Good. Now reach your right arm forward and then draw it back. Left arm forward, draw it back. And we'll just go from side to side, staying in the lift. One more each side. Good. Lower down, hands at chest level, forehead down, bend the knees, circle out the legs. All right, same thing, tops of the feet down, pubic bone down, kneecaps lifted, quads engaged, glutes engaged, lift. Hover the arms, reach them out wide. And now we'll just work some shoulder rotation here. So flip the palms face up and then down, up and down. Now you might continue this or reach back behind you. Maybe you can touch hands, maybe not. Come on back forward, flip the palms up, and then back behind you again. And we'll be here for about another 10 seconds of breath, in whichever variation you're choosing. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the hands to chest level, lower the head, bend the knees, windshield wiper the legs. Okay, same thing, but we're going to do a different variation. So tops of the feet down, pubic bone down, quads engaged, glutes engaged, lift mid and upper back. Good, lift the arms. Nice, now this time we're gonna lift the legs. So you can start by lifting one leg and then lifting the other and trying that a few times. And then maybe you lift both. Now you might hold right here. This might feel like plenty. Remember, glutes really engaged, lifting from mid to upper back, the back of the head and the neck stay long. So it's like you're reaching the crown of the head forward towards the front of your mat. Now we'll come back to that first variation with the arms, reaching the right arm forward and then back. Left arm forward and then back. Legs stay lifted. See if you can move with your breath. For another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, head down, bend the knees, windshield wiper, circle the legs. Okay, one more variation of strength. So we'll start again, tops of the feet down, pubic bone down, butt engaged, quads engaged, middle and upper back lift. Hover the hands, lift the legs. Reach the arms out wide. Flip the palms up and down. So you might continue this, or now you might reach back, and this time reach all the way forward. Okay, next time you're reaching the arms back, pause, and we're gonna flutter kick for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, hands to chest level. Press up to all fours, right into a cat pose. Push the floor away from you, round the spine. Reach the chest bone towards the pubic bone. Maybe send the hips back. Move the hips from side to side. Just countering that spinal extension with some spinal flexion. Good. Walk the hands to the knees, stand up onto the knees, and do some figure eights with the hips. Other direction. Okay. I don't know if you could see the cat just fell out of her cat house. All right, one final variation of a stretch before we go into our deepest back bend of the practice is some side bending. So just from your knees, bring your arms down next to the sides of the body and lengthen towards the left, and then lengthen towards the right. So when we are working with the spine, we want to move it on all of its planes. So think about flexion, extension, which we did, twisting, which we did not do and reminds me we will do right after this, side bending, and circumducting, which we did with our figure eights. Okay, so let's come back down onto our bellies and we'll do a quick spinal twist before we move into our final variation of a back bend. So come down onto your belly, spread your arms out wide, and we're gonna roll from side to side. So drag the right hand towards chest level, roll onto your left side body, and step the right foot behind you. And then we're just gonna do that from side to side. So not only, this is like a double whammy posture, we get a spinal twist and we also get a shoulder stretch. One more each side. All right, and into our final posture, Cobra or Bhujangasana. So we're going to come back to that same setup we did for Sphinx, where the legs are about hip width distance, heels in line with the butt bones, press down through the tops of the feet, lift the kneecaps, engage the quads, engage the glutes, press the pubic bone down. Lift from middle to upper back. Hover the hands to start. Good, now place the hands back down. This is your baby cobra, so you're welcome to stay right here. You could also very gently press down and start to lift. See if you can make that lift happen with your strength of the back before you use the hands and the arms. And then once you get there, maybe you see about a little bit more and a little bit more, just mindfully moving so that it's never too much, so that we don't have a lot of compression on the low back. And this is our Cobra or our Bhujangasana. So you can think about the lift of the heart and the chest, drawing the shoulders back, armpits down. You can explore with glute engagement on what feels best on your low back. And as we represent this shape of the cobra, you can think about maybe the snake representing fear, and in this position, facing our fears. And we can do that in our life when we walk with good posture. When we look our troubles and our doubts and our fears in the eyes, instead of looking down and away. Good, lower back down. Walk the hands out wide, tent the fingers, and just dip the shoulders in towards the midline. And then we'll roll over onto the back and into some rolling bridges. So you'll step the heels slightly forward of the knees, arms down next to the sides of the body, press down through the feet, lift the hips, low back, middle back, upper back, ground down evenly through the feet, press down through the backs of the arms, lift up through the heart and chest, and then lower back down, upper back, middle back, lower back. You might continue just like this. You could add the arms, right? Make sure you're moving with your breath, or maybe the arms are moving in opposite directions. Good, then hug your knees into your chest. Rock a little bit from side to side. And we'll make our way back up to sit. So rather than ending with Shavasana today, we're going to end with our seat. So coming back to that original seat, remember asana means seat. And if you hear the Sanskrit, in all of the postures, they end in asana. So the entire practice was developed for us to cultivate this strong and steady seat. So you're finding your blanket or your blocks or your pillows, and then tipping off the front. And then this time we'll draw the opposite heel in. So my tendency is my left heel to draw in. I'm going to draw my right heel in first, and then my left heel stacked in front. And our practice helps us do that with our physical body, right? We can notice, oh, I always step forward with my right. I always start on my right. And these tendencies that we do, that we're just programmed to do without consciously thinking about them. So when we start to develop that practice of noticing, we get to do that with our mind when we're not on the mat. Oh, I always do this without actually thinking about it. Maybe there's good reason for it. But deciphering that good reasoning and knowing why you do what you do will help it be more profound and effective than just doing it because you've always done it that way. It also helps us examine beliefs that are not ours. that we're functioning on, and we are making decisions, big decisions in our life based on beliefs that aren't even ours if left unexamined. So the whole practice is really helpful in us examining the things that we do without thought behind them or without consciousness behind it, right? Because what we're doing is developing that our minds so that we are the ones putting the lens. The mind is a lens. And so we must be the ones to program it versus allowing the outside world to program it. Anyway, back to our seat. Ears over shoulders over hips, sitting up nice and tall. Maybe you notice a difference, maybe not. But what if you tried this short practice every day for 5 days, and then notice if you sat for 5 minutes, does it change the way you feel in your seat? Does it become just a little bit more comfortable? I encourage you to stay with this seat, to close your eyes or cast your gaze downwards, to steady the breath. Choose a point of focus that might be on a word, a mantra, an actual spot on the floor, your third eye, and take the next 2 or 3 minutes to focus on that. Consider this the exercise for your mind, which is just as or more important than the exercise for our physical bodies. Imagine if we walked through each day with clarity, with ease, without the senses dragging us around. I hope this practice was helpful. As always, it is an honor to walk this yoga path with you. My heart sees and feels and smiles to yours. Namaste.